Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. We'll be using 3 different endpoints in this tutorial that includes users.json, so this is the full URL, and the actual key values that we will be extracting includes the users array and ID key with the related value and the name and the email and the row. So that's that payload for the user's endpoint. The next endpoint we need to use includes products, and for the products we'll be using the ID, name, price, category, and the in-stock key values. And then the final endpoint we will use is orders. For the orders payload, we'll be using or extracting the following keys, which are ID, user's ID, product's ID that contains an array of products IDs, total price, status, and order date. Within your content view, within your iOS project, create a new file called responses, which is a new Swift file. And then the next thing we need to do is to create our actual codable structs. Which are struct, user, codable, identifiable, let, ID, int. So these are the key values that we're extracting from the JSON payload. Let name string, let email string, let row string. And then we have to do the similar thing for products. So that's structs, product, codable, identifiable, let ID int, let name string, let price double, let category string, let in stock bool. We will be creating on the course. The application includes 3 buttons on the main menu, which are Create To-Dos, List All To-Dos, or To-Do Stats. Clicking on Create To-Dos enables the user to add a new to-do. For example, I'll create one right now. The to-do is to collect relative from airport. Master core data and build real apps like to-do lists with notifications, pie charts, and address lookup. Learn advanced SwiftUI techniques and gain the skills to create professional apps. Join now and start your journey. The next codable struct we need to create is called orders. Struct, order, codable, identifiable, as we have to loop through the array. Let ID int, let user ID int, let product IDs, which is an array of integers, let total price, which is a double data type, let status, which is string, let order date, which is string. Now we need to create an API response struct. The purpose of that struct is to hold an array of all of our other structs. Struct API response codable, let user hold an array of users from the user struct, which is on lines 10. Let products, which is also optional, an array of products. Let orders, order. Want to build your own Connect4 app? Now you can. Download the free source code and start building today. The link is in the description below. The final struct we need to create is error message, and the purpose of the error message struct is to enable messages to be displayed on the UI if an error happens or not. So each error message will have a unique identifiable ID, and each error message will have the textual information of the error. In next week's tutorial, we will start to implement the builder class for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will create the builder class. The builder class is responsible for fetching data of different types, such as users, products, and orders. So the first thing we will do is to create a new Swift file. Name the file builder. And then type the following: class builder we also need to have a enum, data type. The enum includes the following cases: case for users, case for products, case for orders. The purpose of the enum is to define the different types of data that can be fetched. As I said earlier, users, products, and orders. Next thing we need to create is a function called fetchData. T codable of type data type. Async throws return T. So the function that we just created, it's an asynchronous function that throws an error and also returns an array, which is an array of generics. So this way we're able to return the correct payloads for users, products, and orders. We also need to define another class, which is called the Data Request Builder class. And the purpose of that class, it is responsible for building the URL requests for different data types. So let's create that now. For the new class, Data Request Builder. class data request builder. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Type the following: private var data type builder dot data type. So what we do there, we declare a private variable that's called data type that holds the type of data to be fetched. Private var base URL string, which is the URL for the endpoint. We also need to create our initializer, and for the base URL string, we need to append our endpoint, https iOS insights.co.uk my JSON files. The next thing we need to do is to create a build method. And the purpose of this build method is to return the request that's based on the data type. Make the language translator functional. The first thing we need to do is register for an API key. In this lesson, we will create the downloading translation view. So within the application, when the user enters the text that they want to be translated, for example, if I enter hello, and I want that to be translated from English to Spanish, when I click on translate, you'll see a view above here, which will display the word downloading. Learn to build a language translator apps with SwiftUI Master UI Design, API integration, and hands-on projects. Enroll now and start building. We next have to create a switch statement that will handle the different types of data. Switch data type URL string base URL users.json. For the products payload, the URL string will be just copy what we just done previously and change it from users to products, and then for orders will be orders.json. So I forgot to create the variable URL string, so we need to create that anywhere after lines 23. Var URL string, which is string. Variable URL string was written to but never used, never read. Let's see if I spelled it correctly. Yeah, it is correct because we're not using it down below. Okay, let's do that next. So the next thing we need to do is to ensure that the URL is valid. It's an actual URL. Just use some safe unwrapping using the guard statement. If it's not a valid URL, we display this message on the UI, invalid URL. Because everything is valid, we next perform the next process that we're doing now. URL request. URL. And that creates a request using the generated URL and sets the method to get, which we'll do now. HTTP method, which is a get request. And then we just return the request back to the calling function. So the actual request will be returned to the builder class, which is the fetch data function. So now we just go back to the fetch data function within the builder class and then type the following. Let builder equals data request builder, data type, type. And what that does, it creates an instance of the data request builder to build the request. So depending on what we're passing in here, if we're passing in orders, it will create the request for orders. If it was users, it will create the request for users. Else, it will create the request for products. In the next tutorial, we will complete our builder class. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will continue with the implementation of the Builder class. Type the following after lines 21. Let request equals builder.build, and that will build the URL request using the data request builder instance. You need a do block to capture and handle any errors. Within the do block, type the following: let data underscore. The underscore is referring to a response, but we don't need a response at the moment. Equals try await URL session dot shared dot data for request. So what that will do, it will perform the network requests asynchronously and then return the raw data, the raw JSON payload from the server. The next thing we need to do is to decode the raw data into our structured API responses that include users, products, and orders. Let API response equals try JSON decoder decode API response dot self from data. So that assigns the appropriate response into the API response variable. Switch type, that should be type, case dot users guard let users equals, that should be users, equals API response dot users as. So we cast it to a generic, else if there's some error that's happened, then we throw the error using build error. Using builder, should be builder error. I think we need to create that one. Yes, we need to create a new enum called builder error. So the purpose of the enum is to state the type of errors that we can capture or throw. We can create that enum anywhere after line 42. enum builder error case invalid type case network error. It should be network error case decoding error case unknown error. So on lines 43, it throws an error when the expected data type is invalid or cannot be cast. Line 44, it throws a network error if there's no internet connection. And for line 45, it throws a decoding or response error when the data fails. And then the final one, line 46, is a catch-all error for any unexpected error types. Now we can return to lines 34. So that should be invalid type. And we return the users, the JSON payload. The case is products. And we just do the same thing what we just done previously. So I will copy lines 34 to 35. Rename users to products. Products. For the build error, we need to use invalid type. And then that should be products in line 40. And then the final case statement we need to create is for orders. Orders. And then you have to handle the errors by using a catch statement, catch block, throw builder, error, network error. We need another closing curly bracket after line 47. We can delete the end bracket on line 50. So I think that should be correct. Products. Has no member products. I spelled it incorrectly, so let me go and refactor it. Where was it defined? So we just refactor it right now. That should be products. Recompile. Still not picking it up. Doesn't seem like it refactored it. API response. Go to the API response. Yeah, so here it is on line 36. We need to include the C for product. Recompile. Like a preview. Let me try it again. Products. Here's compiled. In the next tutorial, we will implement the list view model. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will implement the list view model. The purpose of the list view model is to fetch data asynchronously from the builder pattern, where that data will be ready for the view. The first thing we need to do is to create a new Swift file. Name the file list view model. Import observation. Type the following: app main actor, at observable, class list view model. So at the moment what we've done, we have imported, or we're using at main actor, and the purpose of that is to ensure that the code in this class runs on the main thread, which makes it safe when updating the UI elements on the view that we will be creating later. And the purpose of using at observable is to detect any changes in that class, in this view model, and then publish the changes to the UI view that we're creating later. Var users, user, var product, var orders, order, var error message, which is optional. Make the language translator functional. The first thing we need to do is register for an API key. In this lesson, we will create the downloading translation view. So within the application, when the user enters the text that they want to be translated, for example, if I enter hello, and I want that to be translated from English to Spanish, when I click on translate, you'll see a view above here, which will display the word downloading. Learn to build a language translator apps with SwiftUI Master UI Design, API integration, and hands-on projects. Enroll now and start building. The next thing we need to do is to create a did set property to keep track of the currently selected tab. Var selected tab, content view tab. Don't think tab exists on the content view as yet. So yeah, it doesn't. So we need to create that. We create that after lines 10, anywhere up to lines 10. So we need to create an enum, which is called tab, string, case, irritable. And we need to loop through each of the cases. So we also need identifiable case users equals users, case products equals products, case orders equals orders, var ID, string, cell, raw value. And the purpose of the bar ID for the raw value is because each tab has a unique identifier, which is the raw value. We now need to navigate back to our list view model and complete the implementation for the selected tab equals .user. So that means it selects the default tab to the users on the tab view. Just compile it. There's an error somewhere. Enum case users has no associated value. Case users equals users. Case orders is orders. But no, it seems like there was an Xcode corruption, but I don't know where this part came from that I'm selecting. So I'll delete that line. I think I know what the problem is. I need to include did set. I think I missed that out earlier. Task, await, and then we need to create another method that's called fetch data, and that needs to be called within our asynchronous task. So anywhere after line 26, just add the following method: function fetch data for tab, content view of tab, async. Now we need to return back to line 23 and then call our fetch data method. For the selected tab, we also need to create a builder object, private let builder, then we need to create our initializer, init builder self.builder is equal to builder. And this initializer accepts a builder as a dependency. And the good thing about this is that it's useful for injecting a custom builder during testing or just trying out the app. Within our fetch data method, we need to have a do switch statement. And the purpose of this is to select the right payload that is needed for the UI. And that payload is dependent on the tab that was selected. Users equals, what should be users, equals try await builder fetch data users dot users, it should be. And that fetches the user's data asynchronously from the builder and assigns it to the user's property. The next case is products. We do the same thing. I'll just copy line 41 and assign the return values or the array to products, and we need dot products for the type. And then we do the same for orders. Dot orders. We attempt to capture any errors that might happen. For example, if the fetching failed, failed to fetch tab dot raw value. And then display the actual error, which is error dot localized description. Let's compile it. In the next tutorial, we will create our generic data list view that can be used to display any of our JSON payloads. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Master async and await and dependency injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads, such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API request by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will create our generic reusable data list view that can be used to display any of our JSON payloads within a list. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new Swift file. Name the file data list view. Import SwiftUI and type the following: struct data list view T, since it's a generic, identifiable content view which is view data type, and this view will return a view which is a generic view. The next thing we need to do is to create our generic data array that will hold our list. The next thing we need to do is to declare a variable which is a content type, and this will be used as a closure. Var content view T content view. So this closure will take an item from the data array and return a view to display it. And the benefit of this lets you customize how each item looks in the list. Var body sum view. List data item in. Content view. And then we pass the item to our content view, to our generic content view. In the next tutorial, we will start to implement our content view. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this tutorial, we will continue to implement our content view. The first thing we need to do is, after line 16, we need to type the following: @main actor, to make sure we're on the main thread. And then we have to call our initializer. And then type view model equals state that value, this view model, and we select the builder overload, and then we pass in our builder to our constructor. And that's a little example of the dependency injection using the builder. The view model variable doesn't exist as yet, so we need to create that. Let's create that after lines 10. @state private var view model, this view model. And then within our body, on lines 27, we can delete the text element and type navigation view. And then we type a vstack. Then we add a picker with the caption, select data. Selection, $ view model, dot selected tab. And the purpose of that line is to enable the picker to select between the users, products, and orders. Then we use a for each, and then within the for each, we loop through all of the cases, the picker, of the tab enum, which is on line 14. So we loop through users, products, and orders to display on the picker. Tab in. Text. Tab dot raw value dot tag tab. And that sets the tag to each tab value on line 31. We also need to, there's an error. On line 30, that should be cases, not case. We also need to set the picker style on line 34. Picker style dot segmented and then we add a bit of padding around the picker. We will be creating on the course. The application includes 3 buttons on the main menu, which are Create To-Dos, List All To-Dos, or To-Do Stats. Clicking on Create To-Dos enables the user to add a new to-do. For example, I'll create one right now. The to-do is to collect relative from airport. Master core data and build real apps like to-do lists with notifications, pie charts, and address lookup. Learn advanced SwiftUI techniques and gain the skills to create professional apps. Join now and start your journey. The next thing we need to create is a group after line 35. And the purpose of the group is to conditionally display content based on the selected tab value of the picker. Within the group, we need to display the data list view that we created yesterday, but we need to check which payload we're fetching. If view model dot selected tab is equal to dot users, then we call the data list view and populate the data list view with the users array of the view model. Then we create a B stack, alignment, dot leading, then we display each of the elements, user.name, dot font, dot headline, text, user.email, dot font dot sub headline dot foreground color dot gray text row user.row font footnote the foreground color dot secondary. So if it's users, we display the user's data within the VStack. Else, if it's products, then we need to display the products payload. Else if viewModel dot selected tab equal to products, then I spelled model incorrectly. ViewModel, then we add the data list view, data ViewModel, products, product in, then we add our VStack, alignment dot leading, and then we add our text elements to display the actual information. Text, product dot name, font dot headline, text, category, product dot category, font dot subheadline, text, string, format, price. So we need to format the price to 2 decimal places. Dollar sign, percentage, percent sign to F. Product dot price dot font dot sub headline. Dot foreground color for the text is green. dot green. And then you have a little condition, product dot in stock. So if the product is in stock, so if it's true, then it displays the product is in stock, else it displays out of stock. Using our ternary operator. Dot font dot footnote. So it displays it as small text, dot foreground color, product dot in stock. So if it's in stock, then the foreground color will be green, else it will be red, else the text will be red. I think there's an error on line 52. Category. Product has no member category. Go back into the responses Swift file. A category on lines 21. I spelled it incorrectly. So that should be category. Now I'll just compile it. So that's compiled. In the next tutorial, we will complete our content view. Don't forget to subscribe. Master Async and Await and Dependency Injection in SwiftUI with the builder pattern for cleaner, more efficient iOS apps. As you can see on the screen, we are able to fetch different types of payloads such as users, products, and orders. Using the builder pattern will simplify the API requests by breaking setup into smaller and reusable functions. This is the application that we will be creating in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. We can now display the users and products data using the builder pattern with dependency injection. In today's tutorial, we will also display the orders data. As you can see here, we can display the users data, products, and orders. Not the orders, that's the one that we're going to be working on now, but we can only display the users and the products. To display the orders data, we just do what we've done similarly yesterday, which is On line 61, we need an else statement. Else if view model selected tab is equal to dot orders, which is our enum that we defined at the top. Then using the data list view, pass the view model, the orders to the data list view, and then we create a B stack, alignment, dot leading. Within the V stack, we display the actual information that is within the orders object, order ID, order.id. We just style the text a bit, font, got a headline. I'll just copy line 66 and then repeat it for the user's ID, status, and the total price. User ID, user ID. The font should be sub headline, status, order.status. The font should be footnote, foreground color, blue. And then for the total price, that should be string, format, total price, £, percent dot 2f to 2 decimal places, order dot total price. Font should be dot sub headline, and the text color, foreground color should be green. Let's see if that works. There's a bracket missing. Total price. There should be another bracket after total price, so there should be 2 brackets there after the total price variable. And there's another error on line 62. that should be orders, not order. So it should be view model dot orders with an S at the end. And then let's see if it works in the preview. Then I'll run it in a simulator. So is it working? It's working. Displays the orders, products, and users. But there's another thing we need to let it do. As soon as the screen is displayed, it should show the actual orders straight away. I mean the actual user's data straight away. But I don't know if you realise I have to go to the products and then go to the users to display the users. So let's implement that now. Just going to add a navigation title. Let's call it data list. Also need to add an alert in case there's an error or issue when fetching the data. Error message. Error in. Alert. Title. Error. Message. Text. Error. Dot message. Dismiss button. So that should be dismiss button. Report. Text. Okay. It doesn't like that. Default label can only appear inside the switch. A nice 80. I've got two closed brackets. I should delete one. And then we call our dot task to perform the asynchronous fetch request. So it will just asynchronously fetch the data when the view appears. or when we select a different tab from the tab item. Await, view model, fetch data for view model, dot select. Okay, I now run it, see if it works or not. And here's the data. Suspend user straight away. Here's the products. And the orders. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials.